Good morning, guys. Welcome to our Ruby programming languages tutorials, programming language lessons. Today we'll go on with our program. In our program, we'll describe some examples, some more examples about hashes and symbols. After the next lessons, we'll start with object-oriented programming concepts and modules and structures and standard classes, procs, and working with files. These examples will be in our next lessons. I'd like to start up our courses. Okay, just as I said, today I'd like to show you some examples on hashes and symbols. First, I'd like to show you delete and values methods regarding with hashes. There are also other methods with hashes. So our hash variable will be like this. This is the key and this is the value. Structure will be like this, and just look at the order, and H will be inverted in the next command, and the result will be H dot keys. So I'd like to print out the first index of this result array. We can run it right away, and so B will be the first index content as it is showed here, because this will be inverted at the end of this command. Okay, let's go with our next demo. Here I'd like to show you nested arrays. That means arrays are structured in nested manners, one inside another. Our initial array is like this. This is the first array. This is second array. They are placed in another array. So just we can say it's a two-dimensional array. By means of this notation, I'd like to print out the contents of the first array and the second index. That means this is the 0 index, and this is the 1 index, and the 0, 1, 2, 6 will be printed out at the end of this one, and two space lines will be left here. And after that there is another nested array here with 3 elements, as you see, and I'd like to get it printed first and with index 0. This is 0, this is the first, and index 0, 9. So 6 and 9 will be printed as we expected. I said 9, but actually it printed 4. That means this is the 0 first, and this is the 1. Just I'd like to change this here, and would like to see the result once again. Okay, Oh yes, the first array, it considers the original array. So this is the index number 1, this is the index number 0, this is the index number 1. So 5 will be printed. Okay, let's go with another example. I've gone with nested structures. This time hashes, I give an example for nested hashes structures. I here define a variable in a hash structure. The key is BMW, and regarding BMW, there are 3 components, parameters, and the other Mercedes. This is another member of our hash structure, nested hash, and the other Porsche. So just we could select to be print out these nested hashes by means of this command. Just let's apply and see right away. Okay, what's the number of BMW? Okay, here red be printed. And what about the next puts command? Here I define another structure here, nested structure, and I'd like to inquire the length of this nest array, this hash, sorry, and it gives 0 and 1 because the number of nested structures are 2. Let's go on our iterators. In iterators section, I'd like to give this example. Here we have even numbers 2, 6, 4, and with each method we can repeatedly print out the contents on the screen. Just look this variable x, and x will be repeated for 3 times. So the contents of this array will be printed in vertical manner, line by line. So let's go with another example. Our array includes 3 members, and I here defined a variable so as to be initialized to 0. So for each x I repeat summation, and after this structure I would like to print out sum, the final value I mean, and so 6 plus 6 equals 11. All 3 members are added so as to get a sum of 12. Look, structure, array, for each member do within this block will be done. Okay, let's go with our next example. Here our array includes positive, negative elements and 0 as well, and our variable initialized to 0. With each method I'd like to get all the members so as to add it, and after that I would like to print out the sum, the result, and let's make it run. So just we can make a calculation. This neutralizes itself. 6 plus 4 equals to 10. Okay. And in this array example, I would like to give an example of multiplication. Sometime we'd like to multiply all the members of an array. So by means of this short form, we can multiply in an iterated manner. Of course, the important element here is 1. So after initializing it to 1, we establish the iteration here, and at the end of this each do loop, it's gonna give 880 result. 880. Okay, just this stands for result equals to result times multiplies z. And let's go with another example. Here I go on with iterators. Each iterator will do similar function, similar effect. So I define sizes structure here, sizes hashes here. SVJ corresponds to 800. This is pixels. HD equals 1366, and UHD 3840. And our loop, each do loop is constructed like this. It's gonna give, it's gonna have a key and value, and the hash structure will be printed like this. Okay, and this will be repeated for each keys. So just we can expect that SVG, HD, and UHD will be printed in separate lines with their values. And here I give another example here. Instead of using this structure, I'd like to emerge the puts command inside the this structure. Just we go one by one and see the result, if there is a difference or not, whether there is a difference or not. Okay, at first step, as I said, SVGA, HD, and UHD will be printed out with key values, keys and values, and after leaving an empty line by means of this, the same structure, the same data are printed out. Just I would like you to focus on this structure. Key value will be printed out in this structure. Okay, actually it's very similar, but I immersed it instead of using it in a separate manner. It does the same function at the same time. Okay, let's go on with our next example. Here I defining a variable 8. This is very simple example. Just I intended to repeat the existing rules. It's a remembering I can say. It functions as a recalling manner. X will be divided by 2, so y equals to 1, and I use here times method, so as to y will be incremented by 2. That means the initial value 1, so after incrementing by 2, odd numbers will be created as we expected, 1 because 1 plus 2 equals to 3, 3 plus 2 equals to 5, so on, and after that 9 is printed because okay, 9 is printed up to 8 times. Okay, and let's get it printed. Okay, as we expected, 9 value will be printed as y. Okay, just we can investigate, we can inquire letter frequency in a string, for example. This string can contain as a whole file, for example, as long as it is quoted with quotation marks. I personally tried such kind of example when I created a text file including more than 40 pages. It functions at the same time. It functions perfectly. This is my text variable, so as to be included in a short a string. So this string may contain uppercase letters or downcase lowercase letters. So this downcase method converts the uppercase letters to lowercase ones. And after that I would like to get it printed by using puts command, and I here leave another empty line, and here this is my next string here. So I'd like to downcase once again, and I'd like to print the member with index number 4. So just how was that, 82? So let's make it run. Okay, the first one, big letter I is converted to small I, and F is converted to small f, and also R, uppercase R is converted to lowercase r, and after leaving empty line, the fourth member of this string is printed. Which one is this? 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, sorry, this one. Oops. The fourth element of this array will be printed. It is O, letter O. And how is the next demo? Here I go on with methods frequency. I'd like to give an example of frax method. This is our string, so as to be manipulated. I would like to get it converted to downcase, okay. And I like here I define a array here, hash structure here, so as to be empty. Frax.default still equals to 0. With this iteration, I would like to calculate. I would like to find out how many of them is repeated in this string. As a beginning, I have to make it active, this structure, so as to be considered as a Ruby programming command line. After that, I will paraphrase. I will explain the next line. But before, I'd like to show the result of this snippet. Okay, just as it is expected. Okay. Letter A is repeated 3 times here, 1, 2, and 3, and letter B is repeated only once, B, Ruby, okay, and letter C, there is no C in fact, letter D, okay, Ruby, and okay, this repeated once, E, the same as well, learning, okay. Okay, all letters of the alphabet is repeated within this structure, okay, and for each X it's going to be printed out the key, okay, the variable, the name of the variable, and frax. This is the often-ness, frequency of the variable. In fact, just we'd like to prefer it to get it printed in longitude manner, in a line instead of this vertical manner. Just I'd like to make it deactivate, and like this. Okay, let's make it run once again. Okay, this time, as you see, it's printed in a single line with the keys repeated and semicolon like this. Okay, and the values corresponding to that key is printed in a single line by leaving an empty line between two keys. Okay, let's go with another example. So in this last example, I define an array here, a string here, some text goes here, and another variable C is initialized to 0, and for each x I construct this repetition structure. Each underscore char do this, and this is the structure for increasing the value of C, and I here make a comparison so as to decide whether it is equals to E or not, and at the end of this repetition, this iteration, I'd like to get it printed. So here there is something wrong here. What's that? Anyway, just I can consider this later. Okay, guys, this was the end of this course. Hopefully I will prepare another one today, so as to we go on with our next course. As I mentioned, in next courses we'll go on with definitions, functions, and after that I will start with object-oriented examples, and hopefully we'll come to an end of this course after 2 or 3 more lessons, but I'm not sure if I find much more examples that I considered it would be useful for you. It could go on a little bit more, and thanks for watching me, and I wish you a nice Saturday here. Thanks for watching me. Bye bye.